You are now listening to The Strange and the Weird with your host, Stefanos Saganakis. On tonight's show, I will be talking about cybernetics, prosthetics, and enhancing the human body through technology. Strange fact of the day. Everything you're about to hear from me is 100% true and not science fiction. It'll be strange enough. Now, welcome to the darkness. Hey guys, it's Stefanos Saganakis here with The Strange and the Weird. My once a week, 1 hour show here at Stetson University on Hatter Radio. Alright, I just wanted to say, first off, a big thank you to everyone and anyone who took place in my poll that I did this week about cybernetics. I'll be getting to that later, don't worry about that. I had 59 people in total come to me, and, well, I went to them. They answered my poll, and I got 59 different and unique responses, several of which I'll be reading out quotes from the responses because they're very interesting quotes. So once again, thank you everyone for actually coming up and answering my question. Also, on a side note, I wanted to say thank you to Luis Garcia. He did the flux capacitor just before this show. He's pretty cool. He does a good job with the 80s music, and he's a cool guy. Just if you want to listen to the show before you listen to my show. Anyways, when we're talking about cybernetics, okay, this is gonna be a lot of really bad references to a lot of different shows and a lot of different things. But the thing about cybernetics is they're not controversial yet. I think that's the really cool part about it. Cybernetics exist, which is really cool, but at the same time, they don't exist publicly. Does that make sense? I'll give you an example of cybernetic. A cybernetic would be now they have a grid system that they implant to your eye. Then you can see, and people who are blind actually can see white dots as it fills a grid. And if something were to move in front of their eyes, holes in the grid would be covered up as if it was taking shape. So it would be a very basic shape that you could see. So it wouldn't be that specific. You wouldn't be able to see defined features like an eye or anything, but you'd be able to see like a hand in front of you with 5 fingers. You'd be able to tell it has 5 fingers because in general, it looks like 5 things are sticking out covering the grids. That would be an example of a cybernetic. A cybernetic is not a prosthetic arm or leg unless it connects to the neural system somehow, which actually exists once again. So let's define a cybernetic a little more in depth because there's a lot of things that people think are cybernetic and yet, as in them, don't really qualify. And I'm going to be going with, obviously, Japan with this situation. Japan has amazing technology, especially if the human body. The human body is an amazing piece of nature, greater than any machine given to us. Yet at the same time, it has its limitations. There are these things called powered exoskeletons. And these powered exoskeletons, if you want to think about a powered exoskeleton, think about Master Chief and his armor in Halo the game. Or if you want to think powered exoskeletons, think Iron Man. Iron Man has a powered exoskeleton. Really cool. Who doesn't love Iron Man? And there's a lot of people. There's a lot of different shows that have powered exoskeletons of some sort. You can think about any mech basically is sort of a powered exoskeleton, but to the extreme. Any type of robotic suit, that has a powered exoskeleton. These things are cool because when they make them, they have to make them in accordance to the human body. So let me try to clarify that. They have to make it so that the human body could use it. Now you're gonna think to yourself, but it's just a suit. Anyone could use a suit. But at the same time, if you're thinking about Master Chief, for example, he has a 1,000-pound armor suit, which most people will not be able to carry on their backs. It's pretty strong, and it's pretty hefty to have that on your back. It's very burdensome. But Japan has actually been developing a exoskeleton since the early 2000s, and it's called the HAL, or give me 1 second, let me get the name of it, or the Hybrid Assistive Limb. The hybrid assistive limb is, I'll post a picture of this later on my Facebook page, facebook.com/the strange and the weird. I just love that. It's so strange and weird. It's called the hybrid assisted limb, And this thing basically looks like a Wiimote. I'm not gonna lie, it looks like a Wiimote. It basically looks like a Wiimote, and at the same time, it looks sort of like an Iron Man suit, sort of. But this suit is so strong that someone as skinny and scrawny as I am could start using exercise machine that lifts 200, 300 pounds, and eventually would just be bored with it and just sort of leave it alone. I saw a video of this. This guy was able to use one of the machines where you pull down on the I don't even know what it's called, dude. You pull down on the lever or the bar, and it raises 250 pounds worth of weight, 300 pounds worth of weight. And when he did that, he just was doing it for such a long time. He got bored. He's like, can I do something else to test this out? You know, this is a cool machine, but let me do something else. This is boring. I've been doing this for so long. And eventually, they got out. He was able to do some other stuff like boxes and whatnot. But this is really cool because the science behind this thing really helps you out. What happens is when your body moves, I'm pretty sure you're all knowledgeable about our nervous system. We have a spinal cord and periphery nerves that go throughout our body and send out signals. But when your body moves, this piece of machinery is so sensitive that it is able to pick up your electrical signals on your skin. And yeah, you heard me. There's a lot of electrical signals going through your skin that allow the machine to follow your body and allow it to adapt to what you're doing so that it could go with what you want it to go. Just think about that for one moment. A machine helping out a human in such a degree that they could lift over 250 pounds with great ease. I'm talking like this is like lifting your King Charles Cavalier pup from the bed. He's not going to put up a fight, and you're just going to lift him up? Yeah, you could do that with 250 pounds now. You could lift up a Great Dane if it didn't squirm around. But this machine is that cool. It follows your nervous system. It does not, you don't move it. It moves with you. And that's what's really interesting, because you're usually thinking about, when you think about armor or something, you have to move it. And that's what you see with like medieval armor and basically any armor up till today. And there's just, imagine the uses this could have. For example, there's this Canadian guy, I forgot his name, but I saw him on History Channel. He made a armor literally made of spider webs, and this thing could make him survive getting hit by trucks, boulders. It's basically the ultimate bulletproof armor. Now imagine if you were to mix the ultimate bulletproof armor with this mechanics, with these type of exoskeleton type things. This would be a great use for those in the armed services. And at the same time, it'd also be great use for national defense and for any industrial worker. Because you could be protected, 100% protected, and at the same time be doing your job so much better. Instead of having to use cranes 24/7, you'll be able to use this, and in general, it's a lot cheaper and a lot less expensive when it starts coming out to the main thing, and it's going to be a lot less of a hassle instead of having a big old crane going through your depot store. These things are these are available in Japan, and there are actually 300 of them out now for the 2012 version, and they're actually pretty expensive as of right now because there's only 300, and you could rent them for 1 month for $2,000 US. But then again, you have to think to yourself, this is a pretty incredible machine. This is a machine that you don't control. It follows you. It is, I would say it's borderline intelligent because of how it works. I'm not saying intelligence as in human intelligence. I'm talking about AI intelligence, obviously. It has a higher AI intelligence because it follows the human instead of being controlled by the human, like what we're used to. When I click on my laptop and I click H, it goes H, and it then does whatever it needs to do. But when I want to go on this thing and I want to click and I want to lift up a bar, it follows my body. It seamlessly follows my body. And that is what is so cool about this. And I was wrong. The more modern type was made in 2000. It's actually the first exoskeleton was made in 1989 at Tsukuba University in Japan, which is pretty cool, by Dr. Sankai. And this is just amazing how these exoskeletons could help. Now, that's an exoskeleton. That is not a cybernetic. A cybernetic, when you think about it, I don't know how many of y'all have played Deus Ex out there, or how many of you have seen RoboCop or Inspector Gadget? Because Inspector Gadget was awesome. Inspector Gadget, let's be realistic, he was really cool. Go lighter, and boom, his finger becomes a lighter. That's a cybernetic, because it is altering the human body in a way. Or Go spring legs, is that what he had? That's a cybernetic, a ridiculous one, but that's a cybernetic nonetheless. And there are cybernetics out there that exist right now that do similar things, and obviously they're not exactly the same. I'm going to get into this guy later named Kevin Warwick. He is what we could call the human cyborg as of right now. And I'll be talking about him a lot more after the break, because there's just so much I could go over him, but I'll do a really, really basic thing right now. Kevin Warwick, how much can I say about this man? This man is a brilliant genius. He's from England, and he works with, give me one moment. He works with some people in Oxford to actually make these cybernetics work. Let me see here. And the internet's not responding. He actually works with people at Oxford University in England to make everything work. And these are guys that are like neuroscientists that help him set up everything. And he's also a professor himself and has degrees in robotics and engineering. But the fact that he does these amazing feats, which are not limited to simply going around and turning on and off lights without even flicking a switch. This was his Project Cyborg 1. And what he did was he surgically inserted a small little capsule into his arm. And it was able to track where he went and where he was in the building he was currently in, because it was his building. And he was able to wirelessly and effortlessly, and this is, mind you, in 1998, turn on computers, heaters, open doors, and lights without even lifting a single finger. How cool is that you could just walk in and let's say you have homework. It's a Thursday night and you have a test tomorrow, and you have your PC set up over there and your laptop over there and your iPod's over there, and all you got to do is walk in, maybe click a button on your hand or something, and everything turns on, springs to life, so that you have what you need at your disposal right then. How cool is that? Seriously, that is something that is purely amazing. And this man in 1998 could do that when we have trouble doing it with remotes, with outside interference, with outside technology. We could go and we could click something with a remote. Boom. It might not work all the time because we're not pulling in the right way. But this guy's able to do it in 1998 through his own body, which is extremely impressive. And he has people who work under him, obviously. And a lot of these people are developing other technologies for people who are blind. For example, he developed a sonar technology. Think about bats. He developed a sonar technology that is basically like a really, really dorky hat. I guess you could say. Think about the Google glasses, but for the blind. That's a really horrible way of putting it. But literally, you have a hat, and this hat has a sensor bar on the bottom of it, and it has a whole bunch of wires on it, so it looks really, really hideous. But what's really cool about it is it sends sonar waves out, and it comes back. So when he's walking, he'll be blindfolded, and he'll just take a buzzer in his hand, and he'll walk, and he'll just move his head up and down pretty casually. And when he goes down and he feels like the buzz, bzzz, really strong, he knows something's right in front of him. So he stops, looks around, and he waits for the buzz to stop, and then he turns around and he's able to walk in path. This is an amazing feat of technology for people who are blind. Now, imagine this. Imagine if you could put that into this wouldn't count as a cybernetic, but imagine if you could, as it is right now. But imagine if you could put that into human beings in general. Imagine if you could install with the fingertips. You just do it with the fingertips, and you could install 3 sensors: one on your middle finger, one on your one on your index finger, one on your thumb, and you'd be able to tell in general where everything is. Because a lot of times you'll have your hand out, and you'll be able to just be able to look around, and you feel the vibrations coming through your fingers, and you just, okay, no, that's the wrong way to go. That's the wrong way to go. It's a simpler way for the blind to get around without a dog, even though dogs are amazing, loyal creatures, and I believe that that's the best thing for someone who's blind. Or without a walking stick, which sometimes could be misleading, especially when you're trying to go through traffic stops and whatnot. So in a way, it's a lot safer to have those cybernetic implants in those fingers, which is really cool. It is a really cool thing. But that degree has not been invented yet. But I believe that if they were able to simplify that technology, that sonar technology in that hat, and put it in a walking cane, that would also be really cool and really beneficial. Once again, not a cybernetic, but a really close step to one. Some of his, actually, another person who was actually one of his subordinates, works with him. I don't remember his name either. He was on Stanley's Superhuman. He has a sixth sense. And no, I'm not talking ESP here. That'd be really cool, though, if he could read people's minds. No, he has a sixth sense, and we're talking sixth sense of magnetism. Yes, you heard me, magnetism. And I think it's really easy to guess how he got this. He literally installed magnets into his hand. So he's like, hey, I got magnet hands. I don't need to pick up a metal pen anymore. I just slide my hand and boom, it comes right on. He installed weak magnets into his hands so that when he's around technology and metal things, he could actually feel where metal things are and be able to pick up everything. Truthfully, I don't know what benefit this really has. Maybe besides a few possibly beneficial things with water. Maybe now if he goes into a perfect line, he'll point north. I don't know. But it seems to not affect him in any real way, but rather just give him a little bit of a boost when it comes to things that are metal. Instead of having to spend a minute or two to pick up that coin, just taps it and it's on his finger and puts it in his pocket, I guess. It's a little benefit that literally has nothing, that has not affected him in any negative way. And in some ways, just changes his life just a little bit. So far, I've talked about a lot of things. So if you guys want to call in and talk about anything, if you strangers and weirdos want to call in, please call in at 386-822-8770. One more time, it's 386-822-8770. If you want, you can tell me what you would do. Or if you want, you can also tell me what you think about what I've talked about so far and how these proto-cybernetics or even these current cybernetics would actually help out humans or how they would hurt humans. Tell me what you think about that. All right. And then I'm going to talk about one more current cybernetic for right now. How do I describe this? All right. When we think about cybernetics and we think about the blind, I'm going with the blind again. The blind is a really, really good way to do this because we have hearing aids and we've known that we could fix hearing for a while now. We've been able to fix hearing for a while now. But when we have people who are colorblind, this is like the one thing that people don't think necessarily needs to be fixed because it's just colorblindness. They can see everything perfectly just in black and white. But I think that fixing the colorblind, that sounds horrible, that aiding those who want to not be colorblind is a really cool thing. We have not developed the cones and the rods actually available for that, but they have developed a very similar technology that literally implants into your ear. So this is going to be really cool. Hear me out, guys. Every color has a sound frequency. Am I not correct? Has a light wave, and has a frequency with it. If you slow it down enough, it actually becomes a sound. If you slow down the light wave enough, it can become a sound wave, and that's really cool. So what this piece of technology does, it hooks up to the ear, and it sort of comes out as a microphone past the face. So think about those telemarketers who always call you and have those microphones. Same thing, but it takes the light waves and turns it to sound waves. And he could hear colors. So this is very interesting. If he wants to hear red, you'll be able to hear red. But the really cool part is he'll be able to hear a greater range of colors than we could see. Because our vision, I'll talk about this in a few moments, our vision isn't that great, guys. Our vision for colors is not that great. He gets to hear different little things in just the smallest, most different colors between violet and violet 2, or salmon pink and salmon international orange, something like that. He'll be able to see the difference and hear. Actually, he'll be able to hear the difference between those two, while a lot of us will just be like, they look the same. They look exactly the same. So he'll actually be able to hear a lot of different things that we can't hear. And what's really cool is he actually, when he hears a city, he hears a color. So that's really weird. When he goes to Madrid, for example, he hears, if I'm correct, a beigeish yellow color. That's what when he looks at yellow. When he looks at yellow, he puts the thing near yellow. That's the color he hears. That's the color he hears when he's in Madrid. When he goes to, I think it goes to New York, he hears a big old red color, which is quite different from Madrid. So it's really cool that he gets to identify places with colors through sound, which is amazing. And as I said, a lot of humans won't be able to see how much he could hear. Well, that's because it's a little genetic fact here. Human beings only have a few sets of rods, or I believe cones, in their eyes that let them see colors. And there are a rare select of people of human, usually female with blue eyes, who have an extra cone. And this cone lets them see more colors. Literally. They'll be able to tell the difference they'll be able to tell more differences in color than anyone else in the world can. And that's why a lot of people who are fashion designers have this actual trait. A lot of fashion designers have this trait, and they're able to see all these colors that a lot of people are not able to see. And oftentimes, once again, this is a woman with blue eyes. Not trying to be sexist or anything, but that's just how it is. That is the biology of it. It's possibly a sex-linked chromosome, which is really cool. Some men have it, but it's much more rare than women having it. And it's usually with blue eyes as well, which is something really cool. So all you blue-eyed people out there, go take a look. See if you can see colors people can't see. That might be interesting. Go do a test and take a look. See if you got it. But there are actually other animals out there. Let's go with the mantis shrimp, the most evil thing in the world. It's actually not that evil. It's just very violent. That have 17 sets of cones, I believe, or rods. I keep forgetting which. Let me take one quick look. And the amount of it has allows it to see inside the UV radiation. So, yeah, it's cones. Cones help see color. So, yeah, they have 17 cones while we have 3 cones. And the people who have blue eyes in the special, they have 4 cones. These mantis shrimp have like 17 cones, and they can see UV radiation. They can see infrared light. They can see things well beyond our vision, which is amazing. If you've ever seen UV light, you just know that part of it looks a little purple when you see it. But no, the mantis shrimp sees the most light and the most detail of light out of any other creature in the entire world. It has 3 sets of pupils on each eye, and it's ridiculous. So imagine what we could do if a cybernetic gave us that ability. That'd be pretty cool, and that would, I think that would change the fashion design industry quite a bit. All right, I talked a bit now. I'm going to play a song for you guys, and I'm going to get to the results of that poll I was talking about. In that poll, I was talking about, I asked people, give me one second, let me pull up the question. I asked a lot of people on that poll. No, that's the wrong one. I asked, if you could receive a cybernetic enhancement, robotic arms, sensory enhancements, neural enhancements, etc., would you and why? And if you would, to what degree? That's the question I'm going to be answering with my 59 some odd people who answered in just a few moments, all right? I'll see you guys soon. All right, that was The Future Soon by Jonathan Colton. That song is awesome. I used to listen to it a lot, and I still do listen to it once in a while. It's all about the future and how it's coming so soon, and that is so true. I already told you guys a lot about the cybernetics that are happening right now, right under our noses, and we don't even know about it. But before we go more into Kevin Warwick and what he's done, which is quite amazing, I'm going to go with my poll here. Once again, and if you guys want to answer this with a call, please call in at 386-822-8770. I would love to hear your opinion. You strangers and you weirdos, you guys are why I do this show. All right. So I said, if you could receive a cybernetic enhancement, would you and why? And if you would, to what degree? So once again, I got 59 people to answer this. And I think this was going to be more of a half and half type thing, but it's pretty close, but not so far. People who said they would. We had 34 people who said they would get a cybernetic enhancement just for fun. And we had 25 people who said they would not get a cybernetic enhancement at all. And this goes for a lot of different reasonings. A lot of people said that cybernetic enhancements are great for medical purposes, and a lot of people said that they just don't like it. It's weird. It's like cloning. But let me read you off some quotes I have from a few of my friends and a few people. This is someone who said nay. This is my friend Paul Zach. He's a good friend of mine, currently in the Air Force. And he goes, I personally wouldn't, simply because our bodies are wonderful, and even though they are flawed, they are the closest thing to perfection out there. And that's his personal opinion. That's a really, really nice view of putting it. My other Army buddy, Paul, also said cybernetic enhancements would take you beyond human limitation, guaranteed, as well as maximize your precision. It would be physically the best option for you if you're seeking performance and longevity, but you lose a lot of the ability for intimate contact with another person, which is a big price to pay. So it's a tough call. For me, I would like incredible precision output and never have to worry about permanent or long injury, just repair or replacement. But he ended up saying no as well. He says that he couldn't get it, but he understands how it is for those who have it needed for medical needs. Currently, there are actually arms, cybernetic arms, that when they attach to your arm, they actually feel things. This is basic codons and stuff like that. The codons, my bad. Basic electrical impulses that tell your brain when they hook it up to your nerves on whatever's left of your arm, hey, something just touched here. And that's really cool because now you don't need to burn your robotic arm on the stove anymore. You feel the pain or the pressure. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that they're saying it's good for science. It is a very good thing. One of my friends said, this is my friend Nick, and he's a friend of mine from high school. He goes, depends. Don't be messing with my brain, LOL. But I'm all for other things. Like I think eyes that identify, track, and give info on objects would be super cool and helpful. You can find lost items, identify threats, calculate distances easily, and know how hot something is before touching it, etc. Smiley face. Yes, I basically copied and pasted what they said. This is actual quotes. And that's really cool. He says he would definitely get one, as I said, but he just doesn't want things messing with his brain. We both talked about it, and it's a piece of technology. Technology can be messed up through wavelengths, materials like magnets, and different things. A few people, actually, I'm not going to name these people, a few people were saying that they wouldn't get cybernetic enhancements for a religious reason because it destroys your connection with the spiritual realm and things like that. Personally, I don't agree, but a few people actually said that. And you would not believe how many penis jokes I receive while asking this. I'm not going to kid you. I received at least 6 penis jokes when I was asking this question. Anything ranging from pen and vibrators to making that area grow a little bit bigger. All right, let me see if I have a few more up here. I do. This is actually one of my favorite quotes because it is just hilarious. This is Kylie from Mercer and Kylie's Nerd Herd here on Saturdays on the Hatter Radio. And she said, if it's as common as plastic surgery, why the hell not? There wouldn't be as much difference between fake boobs and eyes that shoot lasers from them. That's probably one of my favorite quotes. And a few people said they'd want something, but they want to be able to keep it secret. So if it's done on peripheries, or if it's done on sensory systems, that's what they want. They want something to be done like, oh, is it going to make me see better? Is it going to make me hear better? But a lot of people actually don't want it on their brain. A few people said, though, they would like extended memory space. I guess they would want extended hard drive in their brain so they could have a bit more 4 gigabytes worth of memory, which I could definitely see why they'd want that. Me, personally, I don't think I'd go for just the fun of it. I think that if it's useful, for me personally, there's a lot of different reasons why you would get it. Maybe it'd help with your job. Maybe it'd help with, as I said, if you could get the Google glasses of eye surgeries and get a really good cybernetic, and you could identify links. Well, let's say you're a scientist and you're looking at the microscope, and you can start identifying different proteins with relative ease through these eyes. That would be great. That'd be really, really good for the scientists, and they'd be able to skip so many things that would just stop their research. But for me personally, I think that if I want one, I will get one. But it depends why I'd want it. Obviously, it's not the future. It's now. As long as it doesn't hit my brain, as long as nothing gets into my head, I'm fine. But if it's a little pill that's on the tip of my finger that lets me turn on my electronics from God knows how far away, I don't mind that. There's a lot of different things that people won't mind. If it's something that allows me to see better, X-ray vision, something like that, you know what I'm saying? That'd be cool. If it was what Nick was talking about with the eyes, that'd be cool. I would enjoy that. And I think that'd have a lot of practical uses in the real world. But otherwise, preferably, I'd also be sort of on the border. I rather wouldn't want to, but if I had to, I definitely would, especially if it's a job thing or if it just will really help out my daily life. Because I have bad eyesight, and I don't even know how far it's going to go. It's been getting worse over the past few years. So if I get worse eyesight, may as well. And I even asked my counselor. I asked a lot of people. I asked my counselor, and she actually had implants in her eyes because she had cataracts. So she's actually someone who has some type of implant, and she says, you know what? I would get them if I had more cataracts or something like that, but just making my arm stronger, no. And I agree. I wouldn't want to make my arm stronger. But other people love it. And one of my friends, I believe this is Ben, because I don't have it here. I don't have it on my list here. Ben goes, "Oh yeah, I'd like to be like Will Smith in iRobot with my awesome cybernetic arm that makes me go down things that would usually shred up my normal arm." And that was Ben Chase for you guys. He was supposed to be our co-host today, but unfortunately he was unable to make it. That was really cool. And let's see. I think that's about all I really need to say. There were a lot of quotes. A lot of people. Everyone, thank you very much for answering that if you answered it. If you want to answer it now, feel free to call in at 386-822-8770, and you could answer this now. And you won't get a prize, but I'll make it sound like you're getting a prize. All right. Once again, thank you, everyone, for doing that. So let's go back on to Kevin Warwick and what he's done as an engineer for Cybernetics. All right, we got a caller. You are now listening to The Strange and the Weird with your host, Stephanos. How are you doing today?
Hello, Steph. It's Luke.
Hey, Luke. How you doing?
Pretty darn good. I know I already answered the question, but I wanted to add an addendum.
All right.
And I think an important part of anything relating to the medical community, especially in the time we're living in now with the Affordable Care Act, is to think about the economic impact it would have on people and their families and things like that. So it's kind of like, sure, these things would be great to have, but it might create just like how in the past there have been divisions between race or gender or something, there could be a division between the rich elite who can afford, this kind of also happens in any science fiction thing like Deus Ex, rich elites who have access to the best healthcare and can have cybernetic enhancements and make them run marathons without breaking a sweat, and then the lower income people who can't afford these great and marvelous things that kind of create these supermen that can do anything. It seems like that is a big area beyond just the fact the human body is this perfect thing and we shouldn't play God and all this stuff. Even once we've decided to do it, it's kind of how are we going to do it? Should it be something that's only curative or something that is, cosmetic?
Yeah, I actually got a someone who replied no. They actually gave me a very similar thing. I just didn't have a quote from them, unfortunately. They were saying that they would think it would create a class structure, a class difference. That would be the rich people who could afford it and those who can't, and it would sort of be like an abuse of power. So thank you for bringing that up. I completely forgot because I didn't have the quote. Thank you very much for bringing that up, Luke.
No problem. I hope I'll listen to the rest of the show, off the air or off the phone. So keep on keeping on.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Luke, and we'll talk to you later. All right, thank you very much, Luke, for calling in. I have to move the microphone really weirdly to get the phone to work. So. Hello? Hello? All right. So, for some reason, the first microphone turned off. I'm blaming the government. If you know me, I blame the government for everything. Hold on 1 second. Hello? All right. Well, yeah, now it's working. All right. I got that first microphone working again. Hey, maybe I have some cybernetic enhancements that I don't know about to turn off the microphone. What did you do to me, doctors? All right. Thank you very much once again, Luke. I have to move the microphone in really weird positions to get it to the phone. So if you hear distortion in my voice at that point, that's because I had to move the phone and microphone. And it's just generally weird. I don't like it. Anyways, yeah, he has a point. What happens when you introduce this and only a few select people could actually afford it? What if only the top 5%, Bill Gates and whatnot, could afford this, and they become these elite master races while everyone else is at the bottom? You see this a lot in a lot of sci-fi, like he said. We could go to things like Deus Ex. This is one of my favorite games. As a person who's enhanced with cybernetics or quote-unquote augmented, you have the ability to jump from high grounds and not even be hurt, which was really annoying when you fell off like a flight of staircases and died in the game. That was like one of the first things you got so you didn't die when you had to jump down someplace quickly. Or you have better aiming, or better this, and you have better eyesight, which it has a lot of benefits, but to whom, once again? And that game was all about the politics, and it was all about the purists who think that messing with the human body was impure, and that it should be left to nature to decide how the human body works, and then the corporations who wanted to monopolize on this and sell it. And then they came to this one guy who just wanted to destroy everything about it because he was some jackass out there who actually created it. I don't know. He was my least favorite character in the game, so I quickly forgot about him. But there's a lot of things to do, and I think in the future this is going to be a lot more controversial. I think I'm the new frontier, hopefully, on this. But to what degree will have effect on the socio and economical class? That is also a very interesting thing. If you have anything to say about that, call in once again, 386-822-8770. All right, so let's go back to Kevin Warwick and take a break from Deus Ex. Oh, and one more thing. Another thing, it could be like Deus Ex, or it could be a lot like Star Wars, where everyone practically has something of an enhancement that it's pretty easy to get it. When you see in Star Wars, Luke Skywalker had a robotic arm, Anakin had a robotic arm. Obviously, this was after Luke joined the rebellion. He got a robotic arm. Anakin had it during his time in the Jedi Council. But at the same time, there were people in the bar, in the cantina in Tatooine, who had robotic enhancements. So maybe one day it would be like Deus Ex and then become Star Wars-ish. Maybe, who knows? Anyways, back to Kevin Warwick for real this time. As I told you, Kevin Warwick has implanted a chip into his body in 1998 that allowed him to turn on computers, heaters, lights, and open electronic doors effortlessly. It was ridiculous. You just sort of looked at them and boom, they opened, which is pretty cool. And that was his Cyborg 1.0 version. So what does he do now? He still studies, and he now does his Cyborg 2.0 project. And the Cyborg 2.0 project, once again, has to do a lot with his touch of feel rather than sight or anything. Excuse me. And what he did was, let me see, let me get this right because I'm going to screw this up royally. On the 14th of March, 2002, he got someone from Oxford University, a neuroscientist in Oxford University, to implant a 100 electrode array inside his arm, connected to his nerve fibers. And with this, he was able to control another robotic arm, an artificial robotic arm, created by, let me see, created by Dr. Peter Kyberd, that he was able to command and make it move effortlessly within seconds of him moving his hand from 5,000 kilometers away, which is really impressive. Think about this. It's like saying, I'm going to call someone in... Okay, that's not quite... Greece isn't that far. God, it's far. Was it 5,000 miles or 5,000 kilometers? I don't remember. God. Either way, he was able to move it from basically across the world. He was able to move this robotic arm with ease. And not only that, he was able to pick up an egg with this robotic arm, and the robotic arm did not break it. More so than that, the robotic arm has a whole bunch of nodes on it, and these nodes sense pressure. And guess what happened with this? It sent that pressure signal back to Kevin Warwick's body. And Kevin Warwick's body felt that artificial pressure. That's pretty cool. And he's doing this obviously with the funding of his university and whatnot, but that's pretty impressive that he could control a robot. And now think about it like this. How could industry benefit from this? If someone got a basic implant like that, just it's not basic. It's basic in comparison to what they're doing now. But if someone got something like that and could move a robotic arm, instead of doing dangerous jobs with chemical plants from right next to it, they could use robotic arms to promote safety in a biohazardous situation. Or it could be used for, like, I really don't like this, but it will probably end up being used for the military to make cyborg fighters or something like that. I don't like that. I do not like the fact that this could really be used for the military in that way. And I also don't like that it could be altered in a lot of general ways. But after Dr. Warwick saw that he could feel and touch with this robotic arm at the same time with his own hand, he wanted to take it one step further. So he got his wife, Irina, and they put in her a very similar implant, but just a little less complex, connecting to her nervous system. And when she was able to press down, hold her hand, put the fingers on her palm, Warwick was able to feel that pressure that she felt. So literally, they had a sense of technological telepathy that now when they want to, they could press their own palms down, and the other person could feel it. And someone brought up an interesting point when I talked to him about this exact one. It sounds a lot like Big Brother. And I agree 100% there. That's one of the reasons why I'm not the biggest fan of these things, but I see their complete medical and industrial purposes. These things are technology. And once again, when you insert something into technology, it's something small you can insert in, and it's something relatively easy you can insert in as a GPS tracker. Those aren't hard to insert in. And these technologies have a very big chance of being rigged to follow you and to take notes on you and to know your blood type, salinity, whatever. They could literally use these technologies, the government or the corporations, to read you like a book. And I'm talking literally because you see the cover now, and then you go into the DNA structure and all that stuff. They could literally take apart that with some technology in the future. And it's quite amazing to see how a good technology like that could be used as a safety system between husband and wife, and at the same time a corrupt piece of evil technology used by some corporation to gather data on you and use it as a life and death threat or something like that. You know what I'm saying? If you don't buy our products, you'll get sick because we can make it so. Or you could buy our product now, but you need to buy a refuel of this type of liquid so that you don't die within 2 months or something like that. And that I guarantee you, once this comes out, that will be used by the corporation for people who can afford it. They have to get these refills, or else some dramatic thing will happen to hurt them in some physical, bodily way. And that's what they do now. I mean, they do that with a lot of medicines. Like, for example, if you don't keep taking this medicine, you might get seizures, blurry vision, heart attacks, and just a load of stuff. Which is also one reason I don't like taking too much medicine. I'd rather not take medicine at all, but if I have to, I will, but I'd rather not. Just one reason. But Kevin Warwick literally was able to do telepathy with this piece of technology. And how amazing is that, to be able to do telepathy? To be able to see and feel what your, not see because they can only feel, be able to feel what your spouse or significant other is doing, or someone else if they're a close enough friend or anything. That's pretty amazing stuff. And think about the benefits that this could have. It could do a lot of things. And with this technology, actually, he's looking to, excuse me, he's working with a team at John Radcliffe Hospital with technology similar to this to actually help out Parkinson's disease. To start stimulating the brain more, but at the same time to stimulate it only when it's needed instead of 24/7, which they do now. So this technology has a lot of medical advances, has a lot of medical benefits. And let's just go into some of the fictional uses we see here, because I know I talk about fiction a lot, and I like tying in real life with fiction. Which, the thing is, the fiction already exists. Our Luke Skywalker robotic arm already exists that we could feel from. I don't know if we could channel the Force through it just yet, but we could definitely feel from it. Maybe we've got some magnets to channel the Force with magnetic stuff, but it definitely exists now. And not to the degree that you see in Deus Ex. Deus Ex has an amazing array of possible futuristic type things. Cybernetics that act as shades for you, and this is basically Google Glasses, but it looks a little bit cooler. Like you could identify things, see how far you are from some place, or they'd have a type of I just lost some train of thought. Or they'd have a type of enhancement to your body so that your heart could pump better, your heart could pump faster. At the same time, once that robotic stops, once that machine stops, what happens to your heart? Does it stop too? There's a lot of different things that can happen that you see in the Deus Ex that might happen in the future, that might possibly happen very easily in the future. Or if you think about it, it might end up being like the Borg from Star Trek that everyone just has to assimilate, or like the Cybermen from Doctor Who. The technology sort of takes over with just the human brain inside of the bucket of bolts. We don't know. But all we do know for sure is that it is here and it is now. This type of cyber technology that we see in steampunk, that we see in sci-fi, that we see in all our favorite TV shows, it exists now. And one day you're going to see some guy wielding a lightsaber with a robotic arm. You're going to see some guy that you see has a brass leg and is walking 100% perfectly. You're going to see someone who has a camera eye because he lost his eye. Now he's taking pictures with that eye because he's a news reporter. That's actually right now. This guy has an eye that's a camera and actually flashes red, so it freaks people out whenever he's walking by. But he gets to take pictures of where he's going because of that eye. You'll have people who are blind now able to see. It is so amazing to think what these cybernetics will be able to do for us, and at the same time, what they could take away from us as well. I believe that they are going to cause a socio-economical problem. Thank you, Luke, for bringing that up once again. And it definitely will affect us in some way like that. But I also believe that when it comes to that, there's going to be a big old war about, like you see in Deus Ex, the purists who want the human body to stay nice and pure, and the people who don't mind augmentations and want people to choose for themselves, or people who really want people to have augmentations, you know? There's going to be 1,000 sides to this, and at the same time, there's no one clear-cut right answer. And it's going to be a really big thing in the future once it starts getting bigger and bigger, because people are already starting to say that this guy, Kevin Warwick, is destroying nature at its finest. And saying some people who are more religious are saying that he's some Satan worshiper, or a lot of things like that. He's getting a lot of derogatory statements thrown at him. Some people are like, this guy is helping medicine. This guy is going to help this. And there's a lot of people saying a lot of different things, and there's already controversy brewing up about him himself. So what is going to happen? We don't know. But what we can hope to happen is an infinite amount of things, and hopefully it takes a better turn, Rather than going down the Deus Ex corrupt path, it goes down the nice whole Star Wars, everyone gets a little bit of thing when they need it type path. And maybe one day when we get this, legislature will say only if you really need it you could get it, or something such along that saying. But who knows? For now we don't know, and for now it's a mystery in the shadows. So I want to thank everyone, all you people who answered my little poll. I want to thank you one more time. And I'm sorry, I did not make the shirts yet. I'm sorry. I know I'm saying I'm going to make the shirts real soon. I haven't had time. I just had a test today, and I had a lot of stuff bogging me down. I will make the shirts ASAP. And then I'll have my my second quiz to see who gets the first signed shirt. All right, thank you guys very much for listening. I hope you all have a really good night, and please turn off the lights, go to bed, and try not to be scared.
Please just don't play.